I'm sitting at a simple kitchen table, sipping a cup of coffee, making direct eye contact with the camera. All right, let's have an honest talk. We love to judge. We all claim to know what's right, what's wrong. We scroll through social media, shaking our heads at people. We call out injustice, bad behavior, and scream about doing the right thing. But here's what gets me. We believe in good and evil, yet God and the devil? Nah, they're just stories, myths, outdated ideas. Really? People helping the homeless, others looting stores, protests, violence, charity events, showing the contrast between good and bad in the world. Here's what I don't get. If we're all so convinced that right and wrong exist, if we're so sure that justice matters, where's that moral code coming from? If you think it's just a human thing, explain this. Why isn't every person born with the same sense of morality? Some people think it's wrong to steal, others justify it. Some people live and die for justice, while others cause chaos without a second thought. It's not science. Science can explain a lot, but it can't explain why we feel guilty when we hurt someone, even if we gain from it. If survival was the only goal, we wouldn't care about things like empathy or fairness. Yet here we are, every single one of us, carrying this internal compass around. Where's that coming from? For centuries, some of the greatest minds have wrestled with this question. What is morality? What's the source of our sense of right and wrong? They've come up with theories. Maybe it's just societal conditioning. Maybe it's evolutionary. But in the end, no matter how you slice it, there's always this sense that morality points to something bigger than us, something beyond just human thought. Here's something to think about. Across every culture, every time period, people have always believed in some kind of higher power, some kind of good and evil. Different names, different systems, but the concept of forces greater than us, forces of good and evil, that's always been there. Why? Is that just a coincidence? Hardly. It's proof that this isn't just some outdated belief we've evolved past. It's been embedded in the human experience from day one. Now let's get to the heart of it. We love to believe in right and wrong, but we stop short of believing in God or the devil. Why? Here's the simple truth. If God exists, then we're accountable to something. There's a standard. We have to live up to something greater than ourselves. And accountability? Let's be honest, it's terrifying. People scrolling through phones, ignoring problems, indulging in distractions. Images of the everyday ways we avoid thinking about deeper issues. We don't want to face that. We'd rather live in a world where we're the ultimate judge, where our opinions rule. Because the second we admit there's a God, we have to admit we're not in charge. And if we admit there's a devil, that evil isn't just bad decisions or human error, but something real? That scares us even more. Because that means evil has a purpose. It's not just chaos, it's active, it's intentional. And let's talk about evil. We like to soften it, don't we? Call it mistakes, bad choices, or corruption. We don't want to see it for what it is. Something deeply real, something dark, something that has a force behind it. But think about it. If you've ever stood in front of real evil, whether in the news or in your own life, you know. You feel it. It's more than just bad behavior. It's like a shadow that creeps in. It's undeniable. History is full of this battle, light and darkness, good and evil. And it's not just philosophical, it's real. It plays out every day in ways we can't ignore. We want to chalk it all up to human nature, but deep down, we know there's more going on. So here's the bottom line. You can't claim to believe in right and wrong without acknowledging the bigger picture. The moral compass inside you didn't come from nowhere. It's proof that there's something greater. You feel it. You know it. And that sense of right and wrong you live by? It points to something beyond this world. And if that idea makes you uncomfortable, if it freaks you out to think about God or the devil, it's time to ask yourself why. Is it because you don't want to face accountability? Is it because admitting there's a God means you have to live up to a standard you've been avoiding? Or is it because acknowledging a devil means you have to take evil seriously? more seriously than you want to? These are tough questions, but they matter. They matter because they cut through the noise. They get to the truth. And if you're honest with yourself, deep down you know it too.